mercy. I know I stole it. Please forgive me.
Forgive you? You think crying will fix this? Chỉ cần bà trả lại đủ số tiền thì chúng tôi sẽ tha thứ, không báo cảnh sát.
What happens when regret comes too late and forgiveness demands a price that can no longer be paid? After days of searching, Jack and Uncle Dong finally confront Mrs. Thu, the woman who stole his mother's life savings. Broken and remorseful, she begs for mercy, hoping to escape the law. Jack and his wife, Tu Tien, offer forgiveness on one condition: return the stolen money. But a devastating truth soon emerges. There's nothing left to repay. Stay with us for a powerful story about justice, compassion, and painful choices. Subscribe to our channel and begin this emotional journey now. After many difficult days of quietly following scattered clues, Jack and Uncle Dong finally found Mrs. Thu. She was hiding in a small, aging rental house on the outskirts of the city, a place so modest and forgotten that few would think to look there. The house stood alone at the end of a narrow dirt road, its walls stained by time and rain, its wooden door worn thin by years of neglect. When Jack knocked, there was a long silence, broken only by the sound of hesitant footsteps dragging slowly across the floor. When the door opened, the woman standing before them was almost unrecognizable. Mrs. Thu, once known for her sharp eyes and confident manner, now appeared frail and worn down. Her hair, once carefully styled, had turned mostly gray, loosely tied behind her head. Deep lines marked her face, as though every sleepless night had carved another reminder of regret into her skin. Her eyes were swollen and red, filled with fear, shame, and exhaustion. For a brief moment, she stared at Jack and Uncle Dong as if seeing ghosts from a past she could no longer escape. Suddenly, her legs gave way. Mrs. Thu fell to her knees on the cold floor, trembling uncontrollably. Her voice broke as she spoke, words tumbling out in desperate fragments. She apologized again and again, her head bowed low, tears dripping onto the cracked tiles beneath her. She admitted everything, without denial or excuse: the deception, the lies, the money she had taken from Jack's mother. She confessed that greed had blinded her, that in chasing quick comfort and false security, she had destroyed her own dignity and peace of mind. Uncle Dong stood silently, his expression heavy. Years of life experience had taught him how easily a person could lose their way, yet also how painful the consequences could be. Jack, however, felt a storm of emotions rising in his chest. Anger, disbelief, and sorrow tangled together, making it difficult for him to breathe. The woman kneeling before him was the reason his mother had lost her life savings, the reason his family had endured sleepless nights in quiet despair. Yet now, seeing her so broken and defeated, he found no triumph in her downfall. The small room seemed to close in around them. There were no luxury items, no signs of wealth, only a narrow bed, a small table, and a kettle that had long gone cold. Everything about the place spoke of loneliness and fear. In that suffocating silence, Mrs. Thu's regret felt real, heavy, and unavoidable. It was not spoken merely in words, but etched into her posture, her trembling hands, and her hollow gaze. In that moment, Jack understood a painful truth. Catching Mrs. Thu did not bring relief or joy. It only marked the beginning of a far more difficult question: how to balance justice with compassion, and whether true repentance could ever undo the harm that had already been done.
Jack remained silent for a long moment after Mrs. Thu's confessions faded into quiet sobs. The air in the small room felt heavy, as though every word she had spoken now lingered between them, demanding an answer. He looked at her bowed head, at the fragile shoulder shaking under the weight of regret, and felt his anger struggle against something deeper and more complicated. This was not the confrontation he had imagined during those long nights of searching. There was no satisfaction, no sense of victory, only an ache that settled firmly in his chest. Slowly, Jack spoke. His voice was steady, but each word seemed carefully measured, as if he feared that a single harsh sentence might shatter what little strength remained in the woman before him. He told Mrs. Tu that he was not standing there out of cruelty or revenge. The money she had taken, 1 billion dong, was not simply a number written on paper. It was his mother's entire life of hard work, the savings she had put aside for her old age, the proof of decades spent living frugally and honestly. That loss had left his mother broken in spirit, and it had torn a deep wound through the heart of their family. Jack paused, then continued with quiet firmness. Forgiveness, he said, could not exist without responsibility. Regret alone could not erase the damage that had been done. If Mrs. Tu truly wished to be forgiven, she had to return everything she had taken. Only then could there be room for mercy. His words were not spoken in anger, but in resolve, an understanding that compassion without justice would only invite further harm. At that moment, Tu Tien stepped forward and gently placed her hand on Jack's arm. Her presence was calm and grounding, a silent reminder that he was not facing his burden alone. She looked at Mrs. Tu with eyes that held neither hatred nor pity, but clarity. Tu Tien agreed with Jack's decision. She believed in forgiveness, but she also believed in fairness. True forgiveness, she said softly, was not about forgetting the pain or denying the truth. It was about facing consequences honestly and making amends, no matter how difficult that path might be. Uncle Jung listened quietly, his gaze moving between the three of them. He had seen many disputes in his lifetime, many apologies spoken too late. He understood that the law existed to protect those who had been wronged, but he also knew that the human heart often searched for something beyond punishment, a sense of closure, a chance for healing. Still, he agreed with Jack's condition. Returning the money was not a cruel demand. It was the minimum step toward restoring what had been destroyed. The room fell silent once more. Mrs. Tu lifted her head slightly, her eyes filled with fear and despair as she listened. She realized that this moment would decide her fate. Mercy was being offered, but it came with a weight she could no longer ignore. And in that fragile silence, the line between forgiveness and accountability became painfully clear. The silence that followed felt heavier than any accusation. Mrs. Thu's lips trembled as she struggled to speak, her breath uneven, her hands clutching the edge of her worn jacket as if it were the only thing keeping her upright. Then, without warning, she broke down completely. Her quiet sobs turned into uncontrollable cries, echoing through the small, empty room. When she finally found her voice, it was hoarse and fragile, filled with despair rather than excuses. She confessed that during the days she had spent hiding, fear had governed every decision she made. Debts from the past had resurfaced the moment word of her deception began to spread. Creditors had come relentlessly, threatening, demanding repayment. At the same time, illness had struck, both physical and emotional, forcing her to spend money on treatment, on survival. The fortune she had once believed would secure her future had vanished piece by piece, drained away by panic and necessity. Now, she admitted, almost nothing remained. With her head lowered, Mrs. Thu whispered the truth she had been dreading. She no longer had the ability to return the 1 billion dong. The words fell heavily into the room, shattering the fragile hope that had lingered between them.
She begged Jack and Thu Tien to understand, not asking to be freed from guilt, but pleading for mercy in the face of her helplessness. Prison, she said, would destroy what little life she had left. She wanted a chance, however small, to atone, to live quietly, to carry her regret for the rest of her days. Uncle Dung let out a long, weary sigh. His face reflected the sorrow of a man who had seen too many endings shaped by poor choices. He understood the weight of Mrs. Thu's fear, but he also knew that consequences could not simply disappear because regret had arrived too late. Jack stood motionless, his jaw tight, his thoughts racing. The image of his mother's tired eyes and trembling hands flooded his mind. He remembered her silent suffering, the way she had tried to remain strong despite losing everything she had worked for. Thu Tien gently squeezed Jack's hand, sensing the storm within him. Her eyes glistened, not with anger, but with sorrow, for his mother, for their family, and even for the broken woman before them. Yet she knew, as Jack did, that forgiveness could not come at the cost of truth. Compassion did not mean erasing responsibility, and pity could not replace justice. The room seemed frozen in time as they faced an impossible choice. Before them stood a woman crushed by her own greed and fear, now asking for understanding when there was nothing left to give in return. Jack realized then that some mistakes leave wounds too deep to be healed by apologies alone. And as the quiet settled once more, he understood a painful reality. Forgiveness might ease the heart, but it could never undo the damage already done.
Hello everyone, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tu Tien and Jack Story. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kể về nội dung đó chính là việc sau nhiều ngày theo dõi và tìm kiếm, CEO Jack cùng với bác Dũng đã tìm ra được bà Thu chính là kẻ lừa đảo số tiền rất lớn của mẹ Jack 1 tỷ đồng. Giờ đây bà Thu đã bị Jack và bác Dũng bắt được. Bà ta rất là hối hận và cầu xin Jack hãy tha thứ cho bà ta. Jack và Tử Tiên cũng rất là tốt, cũng đã bàn luận với nhau là sẽ tha thứ cho bà Thu nếu bà ta hoàn trả lại cho mẹ Jack số tiền 1 tỷ đồng. Nhưng bà Thu bây giờ số tiền đó đã tiêu gần hết, không có khả năng hoàn trả lại 1 tỷ đồng cho mẹ của Jack nữa. Vậy liệu rằng Jack và Tử Tiên và mẹ Lợi có tha thứ cho bà Thu hay không, trong khi bà ta không còn khả năng tài chính để trả lại tiền cho mẹ Jack, hay là báo công an để bà ta phải chịu trách nhiệm trước pháp luật? Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện sẽ được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút subscribe, đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các câu chuyện sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Lý Tử Tiên and Jack Story nhá. Và cũng đừng quên để lại comment góp ý ở dưới video. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp của các bạn sẽ giúp mình hoàn thiện nội dung trên kênh hay hơn nữa để phục vụ khán giả. Tử Tiên và Jack cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Tử Tiên and Jack, thank you so much. Please continue support their channel Lý Tử Tiên and Jack Story. Bye bye. See you soon tomorrow everyone.